Hello, 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 hello. Let's do this. Welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's doing absolutely fabulous today. Oops, no, not doing this one right. Do this, do this, do that. Here we go. I don't know about you. Maybe I think, I have a thought that looking at all these ads that are popping up about weight loss, um ads to reduce, like I got one that's coming in about a double chin, how to get rid of your moon phase, and it's all these herbs and stuff together. And or if you got for lymphatic with your legs, and getting rid of a lot of the waste, I guess, in your legs and stuff. I think it's interesting. And I look at the combo of the herbs, and yes, the herbs are really good. And then they do it in a little cartoon effect, right? So they show these little cartoon people in your veins doing these things, right? And they're these, but the thing is that in order for any of these products to actually work, you have to take them for quite some time, right? It's not like how it's not going to be a week, it's not going to be 2 weeks. Anything that when you're using herbs aren't an instantaneous work, right? It takes time for them to actually work. And that's the whole thing. It's like people think, "Oh, I'm going to take this herbal medicine and I'm going to be perfect." No, you're not. You have to take it for some time. And sometimes it's where we're so used to taking, say, Tylenol or especially with all of these new powders that are coming out that they're advertising about the lymphatic system. And then if you take it and it has, I don't know, dandelion root and a bunch of other stuff all together. And yes, the combination works. I'm not a combo when it comes to mixing herbs. It's just not my thing. I think when you combined the herbs, yeah, I mean, they do work off each other, they do help, but it doesn't work instantaneous. And that's the whole thing. And you see these little ads and they sort of play on you because they're so cute. Like they're all AI generated, right? And they show that these little herbs are in your veins and they're doing all this work. And I'm just like, oh, please. Or even with now they have you don't have to go see the doctor to get your Ozempic. You could just talk to an AI bot and you could get your Ozempic sent to you for what, $149 a month or something. I think that's what I saw. Anyways, whatever. But it is one of those things that people, it's like taking all of that into your own hands. And yes, taking your health into your own hands is a good idea, but I don't, I, I don't know. You got to have somebody who knows what they're talking about. And that's what scares me. Even when you go to some of these markets, you know, I have, I took holistic, um, a holistic nutritionist. I took the course, right? So I took the course like a long time ago, have you? But I took the course, so I had an idea. I took a course with Susan Weed, and studied, when it comes to herbs. So I have a background of understanding. What gets me is that somebody read something off the internet and now they're an expert. I mean, or they use Chat GPT and Chat just gave them all the information. So now they know, right? And I'm like, no. I think we got to start really questioning a lot more, especially when it comes to our health, questioning where a lot of this stuff is coming from, and it looks like when you do some search on, say, when you do a search on some of these things that are coming up and you look, they're 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 coming from China or they're coming from India, they're coming from somewhere else, right? They're not coming from a certified source. And I think that's what people have to look at. And I know people are, oh, I don't want pharmacare, I want natural. Fine, you want natural, but you got to know where the natural's coming from. Just because it's natural doesn't mean it's 100% natural. I lived in the Okanagan Valley. There's an area in the valley that if you go to Karamias, it's called the organic belt, right? Well, I know people who, like a friend of ours who used to own he went and he decided to do organic cherries and stuff. They have to be so careful because of the guy who's 2 miles down the road spraying, if depending on when the wind blows, right? And then having to go in there and get it certified as organic. I question. And that's the whole thing. I think that's with everybody. They got to question, right? I don't buy something off of somebody at the market when they say, oh, look I made this tincture, I made this, and they're trying to sound just like, I don't know how you made it, right? I don't know if you're in a clean lab or if you're in a clean place and stuff. And that's the whole thing. I can be guilty of that as well when I used to sell my teas and stuff. But I can come back and say, I've studied herbology and I've done this. So I know and I understand why these herbs work. And I don't know how many people at the market can do that. And I think even when you see things being sold on Facebook or you see them on Instagram or TikTok or wherever, you really have to go in and you really have to start questioning where the shit's coming from. Because the market's being flooded by a lot of things out there. And some of the combinations, yes, I know they work. But it's like, oh, what is the company? And is that company a known company? And have you done your due diligence on it? Or just because you saw a cute AI video and it looked cute and wonderful and you decided to order it? I think that's where we're at. And people are getting, and the thing is that because people are getting more stupid, right? IQs are going down. So that's why they're doing cartoons. Because cartoons in the faces are relatable to lower IQ. Higher IQ, it's like, why am I watching this shit? Right? So when you look at things, especially when it comes to the face, the eyes, and how they're doing things, the advertising, the marketing, and that's what people have to look at. The advertising and the marketing is going for people with a lower IQ. So when you start seeing a lot more of advertising coming out in cartoon form, you got to start asking why. Why are they using cartoons? Why are they using all of these? And that's the other reason why they got people to start using avatars, right? And that's also for them to get an idea of facial recognition and things like that. Using avatars and using cartoons for advertising to adults is where we have to start really looking at things and questioning. And as I was going through my feed the other day, and I was looking at this thing, my nose is really itchy. Sun comes out, allergies react. I started looking, and I was asking, like, why? When I prepare my teas, I put on an apron, gloves, hair, net, and I do it in the basement in a tent that is completely closed up. But are you okay? I understand what you're saying, Sharp, but are you a herbalist? Like, can somebody, when you're doing, like, I think your teas are, your teas, I'm not pointing at you, but I'm saying you might do that, right? And you're doing it in a tent, and then how sterile is your tent? How sterile is this? Is everything stainless steel? Do you sterilize everything after you wash it? Like, so many questions to be asked, right? Understand what you're saying, but that's the whole thing, is that's why people have to question. So yes, you are a herbalist. or yes, you sterilize? That's the whole thing. That's what people have to ask. Like when you go to these things, and I feel like it's something that people have to start looking at more and more, right? And my connection keeps on reconnecting and stuff. It's that's what people have to start looking at and start really, okay, if you're doing it for your own self, fine. But I feel there's a lot that people have to start looking at and questioning. Yeah, okay. Well, which is great. The other thing, yeah, I mean, again, we have to also be questioning, would I just buy some, I personally, I would not buy somebody's teas that they put together at home, even if they're in your basement. Yeah, I love you. I love you. Even though they're in your basement, even though you did it this way, I I would still question. That's the whole thing, right? Because when you're looking at the market right now, the market's getting flooded with a lot of things, and we have to start looking at more and more on how people are doing stuff, right? I follow this guy from England who makes different sauces and everything, and his process, I mean, he had to move out, he doesn't do it downstairs in the basement or anything like that. He has a whole place where he's making his sauces and doing everything, sterilization, the whole bit and stuff, right? That's the whole thing, because the other part too is that when we're looking at, and I'm just going back to some of the ads I've been seeing lately, and how they're being projected, especially in cartoon form, which is really annoying to me, because I'm just like, okay, why are you doing this in cartoon form? Right? And the more I started looking down the rabbit hole, it has to do with what they call, with either people, well, more people are supposedly on the spectrum, or more people, the IQ of our society is lowering, so it's easier for them to direct it for people, for a society with an IQ that is dropping. And I found that quite interesting. But all I'm going to say, before I go on, is that people just have to be aware. You have to look more closely at how things are done and where they're from, right? And I just, yeah, I just, as I get old, I just question a lot more of how people are doing the things that they're doing, right? Um, and do they know exactly the different chemical compounds on what happens when this one and this one mix together? And if somebody has an allergic reaction to it, and you took something and it had all these combination, you don't know what that allergic reaction is, right? And even when people make claims that, oh, this can do this, this is why when I did sell my teas, I said, I cannot legitimately say this, but but I know this can be good for your well-being. If you start making claims that your teas or your tinctures can do certain things, and you're not properly certified, the ramifications, especially in Canada, can be huge. Can be huge. So I just think that people just have to look at, right? And I know a lot of these companies that are coming in, from China, they do get an automatic stamp from our Health Canada, and they have to be aware. They have to be aware. So I'm just throwing it out there. Um, but I know, yeah. I mean, even when people, and some people can make some beautiful sobs and stuff like that. And yeah, yeah, I'll support, but I still will question everything people, oops, it fell over there. Everything that is done, because yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Just one of those things that I've been, noticing lately. Anyways, what else is happening in this lovely world of ours today? I think everybody's feeling very foggy. There's a little bit of fogginess in the air, and um, I feel like there's. Don't, oh wow! I think there's with Mercury coming in at 3 degrees, 48 minutes of Cancer, and it's squared over to Neptune. And then Mercury squared to Neptune today. I feel like people are going to feel like very delusional, a very lost puppy, very, because it's cardinal signs, it's cardinal energy, it's the mind. And I feel like there's a lot of how we feel. And I feel like there's confusion that's coming in for a lot of people, especially today. And got to find that middle ground because a lot of things are going to be hyped up with the energies, and things are going to be hyped up and people are going to be feeling hyped up. That lost puppy, the emotions coming forward for a lot of people are going to be really coming into their face. I have post-it notes everywhere reminding me of all the things that I have to do before I leave. Okay. I don't. I have it in my head. So there's just today is a bit of an odd day, and not necessarily the worst day, but one of the things I can, some of the strange emotions, confusion, thoughts, and situations that seem bigger than what they really are. And that Mercury in Cancer, which is going to be there for the next couple months, because Mercury is going to go retrograde, squaring over to Neptune, which is all full of illusions and trying to get your ideas and everything straight. And it's in Aries, so it can get a little bit fiery and a little bit emotional there. And so that feelings can feel like that, that lost puppy trying to figure out things out, all the way to a delusional dragon who believes they're completely right about everything. Maybe I came out as a dragon today. Not that I'm right about everything, but I think people should question. I think people just should start looking into things a little bit more deeper, not taking things at face value. And same with Mercury in Cancer, wants to understand how we feel. Neptune in Aries is blurring the lines about identity, action, and direction. Ugh. So those lines getting blurred, people can get very flustered, can get very overwhelmed. One little thing can trigger them, and off they go like a ball of fire, you know? And you might have to just take a step back and just sort of like, okay, let them burn out. The thing about Aries, the one thing about Aries is that with fire signs, you got to let them burn out, right? So if you got somebody with a lot of fire energy and they're blowing up and they're just having an episode, don't try and you know, don't try, just let them burn out. Let them just go, because they're in a fiery tantrum, and when you get into that fiery tantrum, one, you don't want to get burned. The other thing is that you just got to let them go. You got to let them go. And then with Mercury right now, especially in a water sign, and that energy right now in that water sign trying to figure things out. And Cancer is not a slow moving sign. Cancer is a fast moving sign. It's fast water. It's moving water. It wants to move. It wants to go. It wants to get things done and still feel safe, because that's why with Cancer there's always it's a river, but it has its borders, right, and how it moves. But it will push up against something and eroding it until it is nothing. Sometimes it'll take a long time to do that, but it will, the pressures of it will continue, right, till it disappears. And the other thing about Cancer, it can split, right? As it's going, if there's something in the middle of the road, it'll split and go around and then meet back up on the other side. When Mercury's in there, it's like trying to figure out, well, do I go to the left or do I go to the right? What do I do? But it gets very confused about what direction it needs to go into and what it needs to do. And with Neptune coming in, can really make it very confusing, can make it very, it could look like this or it could look like that. So that lostness, and then that frustration can really come out, right? So you got to be aware of a lot of frustrations that are coming out for people, and that delusional energy can be where it's like, well, I'm not too sure what I should be doing, kind of thing. So being aware is a big part of today. and as we're going through this day. The challenge, of our mind trying to figure things out that simply aren't clear right now. And if you are caught between this is the greatest thing ever to this is the worst thing ever, the answer is probably somewhere in the middle, right? And really looking at what in the middle. So you don't want to get, the thing is that being caught in the middle of things, right? Like, oh, best thing, oh, worst thing. It's like, take the step back. Again, this energy, the where we're going, the energies that we're facing right now, and the fogginess that we're facing right now is about us taking the step back and not getting sucked into it. That's why I was talking about all those cartoons and ads that are coming at us right now. It's just like, really? Okay, where's this stuff from? Why are they using cartoons? Yeah, it's cutesy, but we don't want to dumb down. This isn't a time to dumb down. This is to dumb up. It's time to dumb up. It's a time for us to be with discernment and critical thinking. That's the energy we're at, right? And before you're reacting to things, is this important as it feels? Whoa. Probably not. Because one of the things everybody has today, everybody, is that to know your triggers. The basis of our relationship is that you know our triggers. And if you say the word pancake, that will trigger me. Well, I guess we're not going to any Stampede today for breakfast. Or do you want to go to a Stampede breakfast and get some sausages? If that's the basis of your relationship, and understand, you got to understand that people's triggers are their own. That's theirs. That's on them. That's not on you, right? And that's the whole thing. It's like you're even, and I hate, people's pronouns. That's on you. And you're getting upset because I know whatever they were, and nor do I want to guess what they are. That's on you, because it goes a lot deeper. Okay, it goes a lot deeper. And that's what people have to start looking at. Well, why does the word pancake trigger me, or why is this triggering me? And we can go back. C.S. Lewis wrote a book. He wrote a lot of books, but C.S. Lewis wrote a book, and he wrote a book and it's a fictional book about the devil. And there's the devil, and he's talking to his nephew, and his nephew wants to raise up into the ranks of hell. And so his uncle is trying to coach him. And one of the ways that he's coaching him is to get this one person to, I'm fucking this up. Anyways, it came back to when he was little, the way that his mom raised his eyebrows kind of triggered him. So now he's finding that his significant other, because they've been married for a long time, she should know when she raises her eyebrows, that triggers me. Well, that, in understanding it, when you go into the deeper realms of it, is the devil trying to get you to conflict. When you conflict, when you start to have those conflictions about that, and not looking at yourself at what, oh, well, you mean I do that too? I have those things too. Because when we start doing that and start taking that step back, then we can start understanding, we can start forgiving, we can start seeing the larger picture and not falling into the confliction. And right now, what we're seeing, especially in the world around us, is there's a lot of confliction, a lot of things that, a lot of, and that's where Pluto comes in. Okay. I know this, I'm getting complex. I feel the Scorpio's coming out. It's where, when Pluto gets in, he goes to all the different layers of what it was that brought up that trigger. All the different little synchronicities that align to bring that up, to allow for the fuse to blow. Right? And that with that, especially with Saturn and Neptune in Aries will bring, and Pluto in Aquarius is going to bring up a lot of those little things that, wow, this is what brought that to here. All of those little tiny little triggers are bringing to this explosion that's happening now. Could that explosion have been avoided? We have to go back and take a look. And yeah, there are a lot of things there that could have, and that whole series about, oh, why I don't like pancakes was, oh, because my brother made fun of me when mom was making the pancakes and said that the pancake bubbles look like my butt, or some kind of stupid thing that a brother would say to his sister, right? And then you're like, whoo, pancakes look like my butt. Now I don't like the word pancakes, whatever it is, right? But that's going back to all those little triggers. And then you look at, well, why did my brother say that? He said that to trigger you. He said that to get your goat, right? But it stayed with you, right? It stayed with you through it all. And that's where you have, and I'm going to say, the devil at play and doing things. So that's why today, these things can come up and trigger you. There could be an escalation in something that somebody does, or something happens, or they say it a certain way and it triggers you. And you got to say, well, why is that triggering me? What is it about that scenario, that word, that point intact made me run off to the bathroom and cry? And that's where we're at today. And then it's also it's feeling that way of going like, okay, I have to just take the one step at a time. I don't have to figure it all out right now. Right? And that's where sometimes the pressures can come in for the day, for today, and say, hey, you got to figure it out now. Which way you're going to go? What road you're going to go on? Blah, 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 blah. Mercury in Cancer, you're not going to figure shit out. I mean, he's going to be there for 2 months and he's going to retrograde in Cancer. So there's going to be like, it's not it's not a place where you want to figure shit out. It's a place for you to step back and use your discernment and not try and figure and think that you have all the answers. This is not the time at all. All right? Because you got to look at, am I seeing things clearly? Am I giving too much emotional weight to something that hasn't actually happened? And that's the other thing. Jumping to conclusions. Jumping to conclusions about the whole thing. The moon is in Capricorn, which is quite nice. Capricorn can ground things and bring it back to reality. It reminds us that things simply need, simple things just need to get done regardless of how emotional or uncertain or overwhelming. The dishes still need to get done. You might have to sweep the floor because you spilt flour on it. There's these things that you still have to do, and that's what you have to look at. And even though that you might be overwhelmed in how you feel, so you got to focus on what is necessary, because people sometimes take their emotions as factual. Remember, emotions are energy in motion. Energy in motion. Emotion. They're motion. They're moving. Right? And that's what you got to look at there. You got to allow for the emotions to come through and let them go. Because you might be thinking that that's the most urgent thing right now. So today is not the day to let temporary feelings redefine who you are. Okay? One moment you might want something desperately, the next moment you may question everything. It's perimenopause. The world is in perimenopause. That's the energy that it's at, people. So that doesn't mean either feeling is the ultimate truth, okay? And the moon is also opposing Venus. Oh, beautiful Venus. And Jupiter in Cancer, which amplifies. Jupiter, I love it when astrologers say, Jupiter is there for you. He will amplify and give you whatever you want. No, he won't. Jupiter is Zeus. Jupiter can be an asshole. He'll amplify whatever's there. So he'll amplify your feelings. Things will amplify whatever's there and make it a lot bigger than what it actually is. So again, you got to take that step back. You got to just like, holy shit, okay, it could be emotionally exhausting today for you. But there's some optimism there that is available, right? Even though Mercury square Neptune, it warns against making something larger than what it is. Be hopeful, stay realistic. Sometimes these transits make people believe everything is terrible. Other times it makes people believe everything is perfect. Neither extreme is accurate. And Mars is moving towards a quintile with Jupiter. And a theme that will continue throughout this week. Quintiles are not easy. And Mars in a quintile, and Mars, he's in Taurus right now. Right? And so he's dredging through the dirt and through the earth. And a lot of dust is being raised. And here is Jupiter wanting to expand the dust storm and make it even bigger. And then you're not going to be able to see things as clearly as what you would like to see things. Information may be put down upon the table, but you don't know what to do with the information yet. Although you want to. I want to figure this out. I want to know what this is. And this is what is truly valuable to you. What is worth your effort at this time? And what expansions are you willing to work for? What are you wanting to work for? This is a time, maybe sit back, take a realistic look. What is my truth? What is it that I want to stand for? And as we continue through with Uranus and Gemini for the next 7 years, God help us, one thing becomes increasingly obvious. Nothing is static. Nothing is guaranteed. Everything is changing quickly. The old grounding of certainty isn't available anymore. The new grounding comes from making smart choices, staying present, and being willing to move forward even when the path isn't completely visible. So when things aren't visible, okay, I got to trust. I'm going to trust in my guidance. I got to trust in the universe. The universe has my back. I'm trusting in the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is with me, in me, and around me, surrounding me as I go forward, knowing that the new grounding is going to come from making smart choices and staying present, being willing to move forward, okay? And Mercury squaring Neptune can make us afraid of the unknown. Don't do that. Don't go there. Don't take a chance. There's a big boulder in the way. Which way should we go? Well, you got to go left. Okay, I'm going to go left. That's the way. I'm trusting in this. I'm trusting. You don't need every answer before taking the next step. And if you're finding that things are triggering you and you're getting those triggers, look at, why am I getting triggered? I get triggered. We all get triggered. We all got stupid shit, right? So you got to just look at it. So I don't need to have all the answers before taking the next step. And you don't need perfect emotional clarity before moving forward. So the fact anyone claiming they have completely certainty right now, it's probably not seeing the whole picture. Nobody has a certainty. The wisdom today is simple. Stay focused on what matters. Stay focused on what matters, right? And stay focused on your goals. You got goals. We all have goals. If you got certain things that need to get done, okay, this is what's a priority today. That's due on Friday. I can't worry about Friday. Right now, this is what I got to worry about today. And I'm going to get this done today. So don't get lost in endless possibilities or endless worries, endless scenarios, or endless emotional stories. All right? Because we can do that. Everything feels like a pressure cooker right now. And the world feels like it's in this big pressure cooker right now. And I know it. And I understand it. Now, I did my 6 months predictions for the next 6 months. If you are wanting it, it's available. I have it on video. So if you are wanting that, it's available on video. And I have the 12 months the 12 months. I have the 12 signs for the next 6 months written all out for your so that I can send that all for you and the outline for $30 if you're interested in doing and getting the next 6 months predictions. And I know when I was going to do the next 6 months predictions, it was like understanding that, yeah, it's pretty serious time because this is a serious time of change and stepping into that change and stepping into a time of unknown and uncertainty that's coming forward for us all in this world, no matter where you are. And it is where when we come in and we understand, okay, there's certain things we cannot control that are happening, right? You know, so what I can control is what I need to do and where I need to step forward in my life. That's what I can control. I can't control little Johnny down the street because he doesn't like the word pancake. I can't control little Missy over here because she had new pronouns today that were different from yesterday. I can't control that. But I can control how I'm going to react and how I'm moving forward. That's where the energy is, and that's how we make the changes. And sometimes you got to come back and you got to, take a break, go into the bathroom and then move forward. So, and look at what are the things I need to do. So, the tarot cards. Where are my tarot cards? Oh, I guess I'll use these ones. I don't know where my other ones were. I was doing a reading for somebody yesterday. Oh, my daughter. But we'll use these ones. We'll use the traditional ones. And we'll pull them out. So I will be in Manville this weekend. Not Manville, Vermilion this weekend. If you are in the area, Shine is having her Shine event Friday night and Saturday. And I'll be there doing readings. So if you're wanting to come and see me, definitely can come early, I gotta say. I usually book up. We'll see how this works out for the 2 days, if I do book up or not, but usually I'm quite booked up for the 2 days. So lots is happening. New moon readings are coming out next week. So if you are wanting your new moon reading, order your new moon reading. And I have a couple spaces next week for the one-on-one. If you're wanting spiritual guidance. Sunday evening, we're doing the ghost tour, which was canceled last week, but we're doing it this Sunday. So the ghost tour is this Sunday evening if you're in Calgary. I still have a couple spaces open. And we can do the ghost. You can come and join me for the ghost tour. That should be fun. Couldn't do it last Sunday. Yeah. we got rained out. Literally rained out. It was bad. So, and I have fully stepped into doing this full time. So, here I am. And it's scary as fuck doing this and knowing that this is it. Here I am. It's not that I could go running back to go doing something else. The doors have closed for me to be doing something like that. And it's mentally, it's like, it's a mental fuck, in my head with all of this and stepping into, and I know many times I've said this before, but it's always like I kind of had a backup plan. This time there is no backup plan, like none. Yeah. So it's just me stepping into doing this and allowing myself to embrace it more fully, which is fine because I love it. So, all right, what are we doing? Oh, look at that. Look at that. 8 of Cups. Ooh, we are walking away from old scenarios. We're walking away from things that no longer work for us. We are going into a new direction, right? Everything is done. Whatever the emotional energy was there, whatever we had to unpack, we've unpacked, we've set it aside, we've looked through it, it's done. We're moving. We have to go on to a new road. We've even crossed, we've crossed the river. We found a path to cross the river. So we're finding that we've crossed it, but we are moving into a new direction. And there might be some rocks on the road, but we're trusting. And it's almost, I got like, it's like that moon and that sun is that guidance, bringing in that guidance of that walk that you have to do, and knowing that you have that light, that shimmering light is coming in and guiding you on this. You don't know everything. You don't know the whole pathway, but you know that there is some emotion in letting everything go. And in doing that, you don't have to go fast. It's not, no. Okay. The Knight of Swords, usually upright, is things are going fast and we're going to move and we're going to do this and blah, 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 blah. And he's reversed. And so the Knight of Swords can't go, it can't move fast through this. This is where you got to take your time. This is where you got to come in with your discernment and your understanding, and not be such a bitch to yourself. Watch your inner bitch. Your inner bitch can be a bitch. You know, it can make you feel like shit, and you got to go, well, why am I feeling like shit? It's because your inner bitch is trying to tell you things that you believed that your brother was right about the pancakes in your butt. you know. So this is where it's like looking at it and just saying, you know what? No, I'm just going to take my time today. I'm not going to rush through things and get over emotionally charged. Because at the end of the day, the Page of Wands comes through. The page has wisdom. He has the pyramids in the back. There's old wisdom that you can draw from. There's a scenario of understanding that, yeah, I understand. He's got the feather in his cap. He's ready to go. There's the Page of Wands. I understand what my passions are. I understand of the newness that is coming in, but I'm going to use my inner wisdom in going forward and understanding that the old way I can't go back to. There's a new path that's coming in, but I don't have to do the race. I don't have to race to the very end. So there you go, my loves. May the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you, and all you say and all you be and all you do. You need to book in. I have openings next week. I think I got 3 that are open next week. So have a blessing. Bye-bye. See ya. Whoop. Too many buttons to press. End.